Meet Claudie, an American girl. Chapter 4. You gotta improvise. For the rest of the week, Claudie tried to find her talent. She shadowed Daddy at Angelo's, where he showed her how to make a lemon cake. But she always lost her focus. Claudie forgot what she'd already measured, and she mixed up baking powder with baking soda. She started daydreaming and forgot to set the timer. Claudie wasn't any better at decorating cakes either. She couldn't control the icing with the same precision as her father, who created crisp lines and perfect swirls. Instead, she only wound up with icing all over her hands and face. Maybe I'm not a baker, thought Claudie. She tried following Mama next. Claudie lingered on the sidewalk while her mother interviewed sources outside the Elks Lodge, a community club where an election was in progress. She felt fascinated watching her mother work, as she did studying her father decorating cakes. From afar, reporting looked simple. Her mother stood beneath the awning, holding her tiny notebook, as she asked the woman which candidate she supported. But Mama was focused, scribbling notes so quickly that her pencil blurred. So this is Claudie decorating the cake with her father. Each time the woman answered, Mama pressed her for more details. Mama had the type of presence that made strangers want to talk to her. But Claudie felt so shy meeting new people. She could not picture herself interviewing someone. How would she know which questions to ask? No, she did not think that she could be a reporter. She would have to find something else. The next afternoon, Claudie decided to ask Porter to teach her how to play the cornet. Even if she wasn't a singer, and probably wouldn't be a seamstress, or baker, or reporter, maybe she'd be able to play an instrument. Maybe she could be like the musician she spotted through the cafe windows, strumming upright basses or banging on piano keys. Porter, would you give me a cornet lesson? Claudie asked, even though she wasn't quite sure what a cornet was. It's like a trumpet, right? Porter gasped. No, it's not like a trumpet, he said. It's smaller and the sound is warmer. It's the perfect instrument for you to learn music, actually. How come? Claudie asked. Because you carry it in this little bitty case, Porter said. That means you can take it anywhere. You want to carry a trombone around? Or a tuba? Claudie laughed, imagining herself with a giant tuba wrapped around her body. Exactly, he said. You just grab this and bam. You on your way to rehearsal? No problem. It's great for little arms. He squeezed Claudie's slender arm and she laughed again. Porter lifted the cornet and played a few bars of When the Saints Come Marching In. Claudie sat back in her chair, mesmerized by the smooth notes resonating in the air. He tried to teach her how to play a scale, but she only squeaked and squawked. Oh, she would never be able to sound like Porter. I used to play in a band during the war, Porter said. Those French boys never heard no music like that. They used to call it magic. How we made our horns talk. He flapped a mute across the bell of the cornet, and the horn made a low mwah, mwah. Porter, Claudie said, how'd you know you were good at playing the cornet? It's in my blood, baby, he said. I'm from New Orleans, you know, the birthplace of jazz. I grew up listening to cats playing on street corners. I'd hang around nightclubs, listening to bands through open windows. You could listen to a band play every night, and each time, you heard something different than the night before. I wanted to make my music like that too. That's what I love about jazz. How surprising it is. You gotta improvise. What's that mean? Claudie asked. It means you make it up as you go, Porter replied. Then he played another riff, the notes suddenly ripping through the air. Claudie could hardly believe that he was able to play such a beautiful melody off the top of his head. How'd you learn to improvise? Claudie asked. Well, it's sort of like making up a story, Porter said. Like your puppet shows. You don't write those down nowhere, do you? No. Claudie supposed she didn't. She'd never considered that making up a story required any special skill. She always liked to make up stories in her head. She didn't think it was especially hard. Not like improvising a melody in the middle of performing it. It's simple, really, Porter said. You listen to the band around you, and then you start to hear notes in your mind. When I was taking cornet lessons, I couldn't stop myself from riffing off through the music. Drove my teacher crazy. He laughed a little and handed the horn back to Claudie. Is that why you came to Harlem? She asked. To play in a band? Well, I went back home to New Orleans after the war, he said. Thought I would join up with my old band. But then, some white men jumped on me. They didn't like seeing us in uniform. Claudie frowned. What did Porter mean? Weren't the soldiers heroes? She still remembered a clear, sharp February morning 3 years ago when New York City welcomed the Hellfighters home in a grand parade. She stood along the barricade with Mama and Jody, waving a flag as she craned her neck, searching for Daddy's face. She was bundled in her prettiest blue coat and could barely feel the cold. Beside her, an older white woman dabbed her eyes with a silk handkerchief. Claudie watched the parade with her heart in her throat. She felt as if the entire city had gathered in the streets to celebrate Daddy coming home. Now, Porter was telling her the colored soldiers had been attacked. How is that possible? But I don't understand, she said. Porter squeezed her shoulder. Neither do I, he said. About the only thing I understand is this here cornet. You move this finger, and you get one note. That finger, and you get a different one. But people are a mystery.